The bell stopped at once. A sudden, jarring silence fell where the rhythmic clang should have been. The sea was loud. It crashed against the island's jagged cliffs with a relentless, angry roar. Wind hit the stone walls of the lighthouse like a giant invisible hand, a force of nature trying to push the tower itself into the churning water below. A small supply boat, the Hesperus, moved cautiously through the rough waves, its crew looking up at the tall, unblinking eye of the lighthouse. The light at the top did not shine. It was dark, a cold, dead thing against the grey December sky. This was not right. It was a profound violation of the natural order of the sea. A lighthouse should always glow, a constant, faithful star for those navigating the treacherous waters. People on distant shores, sailors on their lonely voyages, ships needed that light, relied on its predictable sweep across the darkness. Without it, boats could be lured to their doom, their wooden hulls shattered against the unforgiving stone teeth of the coast. The absence of the light was a scream in the quiet language of the sea. Two men from the Hesperus prepared to row to the small island of Island Moor. Captain James Harvey felt a deep unease settle in his gut. He sent his men with ropes, he sent his men with lanterns, preparing for the worst, though he could not imagine what that might be. Inside, the scene was even more unsettling than the silence outside. Everything was in its place. The floor was clean, recently swept. A meal was left untouched on the kitchen table. Salted mutton, pickles. A kettle sat on the cold stove, ready to be heated. In the sleeping quarters, the beds were neatly made, the blankets folded with precision. The lighthouse logbook was there, open on a desk. Its neat entries chronicled the mundane duties of the keepers. The weather, the wind, the passing ships. The last entry was strange. It was dated December 15th. It spoke of a storm so terrible the men were praying. The relief keeper, Joseph Moore, who had been sent ashore, went upstairs to the lantern room. The winding stone stairs were dry and cool, untouched by the storm the logbook described. The lamp room itself was immaculate. The great lamp, the very heart of the lighthouse, stood ready, polished and gleaming. Its complex system of lenses was pristine. The oil reservoirs were full and the wicks were trimmed, prepared for the coming night. A single chair was overturned, a small but jarring detail in an otherwise orderly scene. On a small table, 3 mugs sat waiting, 3 mugs, 3 beds, 3 men. But the 3 men were not there. There were no footprints in the soft earth around the lighthouse. No rope hung from the cliffside crane, which was used to haul supplies up from the landing stage. It was as if the men had simply evaporated from the island, leaving no trace of their departure. The main door had been closed and barred from the inside, a detail that baffled the investigators. The window locks were all securely fastened. According to the logbook and the state of the clocks, the men had been there just the day before. The papers and books were not torn or scattered. Papers. There were no signs of a struggle, no hint of violence or foul play. The town, and soon the whole country, demanded answers. The Northern Lighthouse Board sent more men to conduct a thorough search of the tiny island. They scoured every inch of the rocky outcrop. They peered into the dark, water-filled caves that riddled the base of the cliffs. They climbed the treacherous cliff faces, calling the men's names until their throats were raw and their voices were lost to the wind. They searched the waters for any sign of a small boat or debris. They found nothing, not a body, not a piece of clothing, not a single clue to explain the impossible. Many ideas were put forth, each one trying to impose logic on the illogical. The official explanation settled on a freak wave. Perhaps 2 of the keepers went down to the landing stage to secure a supply crate during a storm. Perhaps a colossal wave, born from the tempestuous Atlantic, rose up and swept them away. The 3rd keeper saw this from the tower, rushed down to help, only to be taken by the next wave. But it didn't explain the untouched meal, the overturned chair, why experienced keepers would venture out in such conditions. Unofficial theories were far more numerous and far more imaginative. Some whispered of pirates a ruthless crew had landed. They killed the men and spirited their bodies away. Others suggested a more personal drama, a fight that had ended in a murder-suicide. The killer threw his victims and then himself into the sea. Old folk from the nearby islands told darker tales, stories passed down through generations. They spoke of ancient spirits, voices in the wind that could drive men mad. They said the sea had a hunger, it had simply claimed the men for its own, a toll for living so close to its power. Years went by, and the story of the Flannan Isles did not fade. It became a legend, a cautionary tale told by sailors near crackling fires in cozy pubs. The mystery grew with each retelling, the facts blurring into folklore. Some made the tragedy into a haunting rhyme, a poem that captured the eerie silence of the abandoned tower. Newspapers from as far away as America printed the story, each adding its own layer of speculation. Visitors, drawn by the macabre mystery, began to make pilgrimages to the island, hoping to feel some echo of what had happened. They would stand in the empty doorway and listen, hearing only the waves and the ghosts of ringing bells. Lighthouses are inherently lonely places, monuments to isolation. The men who live in them see strange things on the horizon and hear stranger things in the wind. They work long, dark nights, their only company, the rhythmic sweep of the light they tend. They sleep in small circular rooms, lulled by the constant murmur of the sea against stone. The sea can be a gentle companion or a cruel master. The light saves lives, but on that one night in December 1900, the light died. 3 men vanished without a trace. The sea, as it always does, kept its secrets buried deep within its cold heart. Today, if you are a sailor navigating those waters, when your ship passes the lonely island of Eilean Mor, you might slow your engines. It has become a tradition. Some sailors toss flowers into the dark, swirling water, a small offering to the memory of the lost keepers. Others simply observe a long, respectful silence, their eyes fixed on the stone tower that has witnessed so much. The island keeps the names of the men, Marshal Ducat MacArthur, etched into its history. The lighthouse still stands, a stoic sentinel. The great lamp shines again, automated now, a ghost light tended by no human hand. But the old fear remains, a permanent shadow in the doorway. We will never know the truth. That is the most terrifying part of the story. There is no final chapter, no neat resolution. The sea keeps its stories locked away, and the wind will not speak of what it saw that day. The island waits, quiet and bright, a beautiful tomb for a mystery that will never be solved. On some nights, when the thick, wet fog rolls in from the Atlantic, blanketing the island in a white shroud, local fishermen say they see something strange. They say they see a small flickering light moving along the dark rocks near the landing stage. It is a story told in hushed tones. They do not know if it is a trick of the light, a reflection on the water, or the phosphorescence of the waves. They do not know if it is a lamp held by a ghostly hand. They only know that it is there in the place where the men were last thought to be.